This is a live Decision 2016 update from Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to Decision 2016 headquarters. Cindy Sexton and David Carroll live at 10:55.
The presidential race is so close. Right now, 131 votes headed to Hillary Clinton and 168 electoral college votes for Donald Trump. We still have 6 polling locations that are open across the country. Donald Trump has won Tennessee. That happened soon after polling locations closed.
And if you're wondering how the presidential election results broke down by county, let's take a look. In Hamilton County, 55% of voters were in the Trump column, and a little over 40% were in the Clinton column.
In Bradley County, 78% of voters wanted to see Trump as their next president. 19% wanted Clinton.
Now let's go to North Georgia. Let's look at Whitfield County. And you'll see the numbers in Whitfield County reveal that 67, will make that 71%. That changed since the last time we checked. 71% selected Trump, 29% voted for Clinton. So that's a sampling of our large counties in the Channel 3 viewing area. You can find out how your county voted on our app and our website.
65% of the vote went to Donald Trump in the state of Tennessee, 31% to Hillary Clinton.
And this despite the fact that Governor Bill Haslam did not endorse Donald Trump. In Georgia, a close race in the presidential election as compared to Tennessee anyway. Donald Trump wins Georgia there, 55% of the voters, about 42% going for Clinton. Now another race we're following closely, Walker County Commissioner.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Tanisha Cordell tells us Shannon Whitfield has defeated longtime incumbent Beebe High School. Tanisha, tell us about the race.
Yes, Cindy, so I've just received unofficial results, and here are the numbers. Whitfield is in the lead and has unofficially declared the commissioner's seat with 72% of your votes. Beebe High School is in with 12% and Perry Lamb Jr. in with 14%. Again, these are unofficial, but we had a situation here at the commissioner election office where a card or a voting card was left at one of the voting precincts, and a sheriff deputy is on his way to receive that. And when that card is in, they can declare the winner officially, and we should get those results soon. Natalie Potts will bring you more on what that situation was currently. Now, I got the chance to talk with Whitfield over with his party celebrating his win tonight. Here's what he had to say.
It's been very exciting. You know, some people say, hey, can't believe that you've really enjoyed this process and this campaign, but I just looked at it like a big football game and just knew that you're going to have good runs and you're going to have bad days, and everything's going to work out in the end. So, you know, it's been exciting, and I've really enjoyed the process.
Now coming up, we'll have more from Whitfield on his victory tonight. I have tried to call and get in touch with Beebe High School, who has not returned any of my phone calls tonight for a comment on the race. But we'll have more updates on these results as soon as they become available. Live in Walker County, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
You know, every election night brings its surprises. Some races are closer than you think, some are not. And that particular one, you know, you have a 16-year incumbent who has lost in pretty dramatic fashion, getting only 13% of the vote. So Shannon Whitfield will be the sole commissioner in Walker County for the next 4 years.
Certainly one of those surprises.
A big surprise there, just a margin of victory. And the Todd Gardenhire race, many people have been asking about that one. Earlier this evening, we noted that Gardenhire lost his home county of Hamilton by about 1,000 votes in that state Senate District 10 race, but he won Bradley County by a huge margin of some 9,000 votes. So Todd Gardenhire has defeated Christy Wilkinson in his race for re-election to State Senate District 10. And the presidential race, Cindy, how about that?
Well, I think it's still too close to call, but I do say most of the pundits, most of the people watching, we've been following NBC's coverage all evening, people are really surprised.
And NBC's Lester Holt and Chuck Todd have been noting the surprising wins for Donald Trump in some key states. And of course, we'll be following that and monitoring the situation throughout our local news, which starts in just a moment, to let you know if any of the states still in play are declared winners for one candidate or the other.
We'll be right back.
The latest Decision 2016 results anytime on WRCBTV.com and on the WRCB app.
And just like that, we begin our 11 o'clock news with Cindy Sexton. I'm David Carroll. Greg Glover will join us in just a few minutes for more coverage on Decision 2016 on a very interesting election night.
So interesting. So many people watching, so many happy people and so many disappointed people. The race for the White House now down to its final hours as we all anxiously wait for the results that will tell us who will be the next president.
In case you just got home from work and you're wondering what's going on, let's pass along some information. There are 538 electoral votes in all. It takes 270 to win the presidency. And right now, Donald Trump has not yet reached that point, but a couple of key states, including Michigan, could put him over the top. This is the results here from Hamilton County, but nationwide, Trump also with the lead in the popular vote, as you see here, by about 2 million votes, and leading in the electoral votes as well.
Still certainly very close to call. The interesting thing also is you talk about the exit polling and you talk about the predictions that have been made all along. They all had it close, and then they always say there's that margin of error of 3%, and that could go either way. Looks like it went the other way.
And I think, as we've all learned, you really don't know the outcome until election night. And as a matter of fact, we still don't know the outcome, so stay with us. And we may know the results before you go to bed, or it may be in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah. The race was very close in Georgia. There you see the numbers, 55% for Donald Trump, 42 Hillary Clinton. Those were the numbers from Georgia. And Tennessee, of course, went very early to Donald Trump, 66% of the vote to 31% for Clinton.
And we have full team coverage of Election Day, including the presidential race, as well as the key races of interest here in the Tennessee Valley. Let's start with the presidential race. Whether you're a Trump supporter or a Clinton fan, we have all the angles covered for you. As you see on the screen, our reporters are covering each of those candidates' events. We'll begin with Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kelly McCarthy, live at the Republican headquarters at the DoubleTree in downtown Chattanooga. And Kelly, sounds like folks are in a good mood there.
David, yeah, the crowd has really been pumped up the last hour here as some of the national results have been pouring in, and Trump is doing a lot better than many people have expected. Every time there's a new state called in Trump's favor, the crowd behind me starts cheering, clapping, screaming. You can hear people say, "I can't believe it, he's going to do it." And that just happened a few minutes ago as it was called that Trump wins Florida, one of the major swing states in this presidential election. Now, and we also heard newly elected Congressman Chuck Fleischmann get up on the podium and say he wants to see a Republican president serve alongside him coming up here. And we've also talked with County Mayor Jim Coppinger, who says most importantly he hopes Trump can unite Americans across the country.
I think it's really important, more so than any other time in my lifetime. I've never seen this country in this shape of being so divisive, and I think it's really important to unite people, to come back together and do what's best for the country.
Now, it's still a very close presidential race, but the people here are definitely cheering for Trump to continue this speed that he's been getting with some of the states that have been uncertain so far. And I can tell you that we'll be keeping a close eye as this presidential race continues to unfold, and we'll have more updates for you throughout the night. I'm live in Chattanooga. Kelly McCarthy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kelly. And we turn, of course, now to the Democratic side. It has been a nail-biter for voters across the country as the first several states went to Donald Trump. They've been watching closely from here in Chattanooga as well.
So let's go to Jefferson's in Chattanooga, where Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Cameron Taylor joins us. And a lot of buzzing going on at the Democratic headquarters, too. Still some optimism there, Cam?
Yeah, there is still some optimism, David. At first, for several minutes, I would say, local Democrats felt nervous about what they were seeing, what the networks were calling in some of the states. But a lot of key races have been called, Virginia being one of them, and then California, which it has been predominantly a Democrat state for a long time now. So that has renewed some energy here at Jefferson's in downtown Chattanooga. A lot more energy than there was before earlier in the night. There was some nervousness, there was some disappointment and whatnot, but we did speak with some local leaders, some local Democrats in our area about why this race has been so emotional.
Well, I think that the country's got a lot of turmoil right now. A lot of great things like low unemployment, health care for a lot more people, but we need someone who's going to continue that into the next 4 or 8 years, and that's clearly Hillary Clinton, not the other guy who's not qualified.
though Jefferson's has emptied out a little bit, people are still very much pumped up in here. They're watching intently because this race is still far from over. We're live in downtown Chattanooga. Cameron Taylor, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Cameron, thank you very much. On the local level, Republican U.S. Representative Chuck Fleischmann has been reelected to a 4th term in Tennessee's 3rd Congressional District. Fleischmann
was opposed by Democrat Melody Shikari, who waged a good campaign, and controversial independent candidate Rick Tyler. Fleischmann wins that 4th term in Congress. And Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Sarah Sidery joins us live downtown with more from there. Sarah.
Cindy, a big win for Tennessee Republicans tonight, with Chuck Fleischmann securing his 4th term in the U.S. House of Representatives. Fleischmann won with 2/3 of the votes tonight, beating his Democratic opponent Melody Shikari, who took 1/3 of the votes. The 3 independent candidates took a combined 5%. Fleischmann announced this was the 4th time he has carried every county in the 3rd District during the general election. The congressman says his 4th term priorities are workforce development and securing more funding to build a new Chickamauga lock.
My commitment to the people of the 3rd District of Tennessee is to continue to work hard to represent them. I'm just so very thankful for this great win tonight. The House looks very good, will remain in Republican hands. I'm optimistic about the Senate. We should keep our margin there, even though it may be razor thin. And I'm going to continue to hope and pray for a Republican win for the White House.
A lot of people here still eagerly awaiting those results to come in. And of course, here at the Republican Watch Party, a lot of cheers every time Donald Trump secures another state. Reporting live in Chattanooga, Sarah Sidery, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Sarah, thank you. In Tennessee's 4th Congressional District, Republican incumbent Scott Desjardins will keep his position. He defeated Democratic candidate Stephen Reynolds. There you see he picked up 65% of the vote to the Democrats' 35%. Desjardins was first elected in 2010.
In Georgia this evening, a U.S. Senate seat was up for grabs.
The 2-term Republican incumbent Johnny Isakson faced Democratic challenger Jim Barksdale. And Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Natalie Potts joins us live from Walker County with more on the Georgia race. Natalie.
Hey guys, incumbent Johnny Isakson is still leading the polls tonight. The latest results show that Johnny Isakson has 1.4 million votes, and Jim Barksdale, his opponent, with more than 926,000 votes. That's only 26% of the precincts reporting right now, but we do have a quick mishap to tell you about that happened earlier tonight here in Walker County that election officials are dealing with as we speak. They say that one of the SD cards that was in a voting machine was accidentally left behind at Mount Pleasant Precinct, and that machine malfunctioned earlier this morning around 7 a.m. And it was put aside. Officials say the card did not have any votes on it, so it did not have any effect on the actual candidates and where they stood in the race, but they could not finish the results here in Walker County without submitting that SD card into the computer here to count it officially. And we are just told that they did get that SD card in the building and they just put it in, so they're trying to wrap up votes as soon as possible. And of course, you can find the latest on our website and on air, WRCBTV.com. But for now, reporting live in Walker County, Natalie Potts, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Natalie. By the way, we understand North Carolina has just been declared a Trump win, and the Detroit Free Press in Michigan has declared Michigan for Trump. Now, once again, that's from the Detroit Free Press. Not from NBC, but if that's the case, that would put him over the top. So if we hear anything more from NBC, we'll get right back to that.
Bring you those electoral totals. In the race for Walker County's sole commissioner, a very big upset tonight.
Yeah, the incumbent has been defeated. Republican nominee Shannon Whitfield defeated Perry Lamb in 2nd place, and then incumbent Beebe High School, who finished in 3rd place. The high school has been the sole commissioner in Walker County since 2000. Let's go to Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Tanisha Cordell, live in Walker County with reaction. Tanisha.
Yes, guys, so a huge victory for Shannon Whitfield today. I got to speak with him and his crew over at the Lafayette Bank, just down the street from the Election Commission, and he's super excited about today's win. Here's what he had to say.
It's been very exciting. You know, some people say, hey, can't believe that you've really enjoyed this process and this campaign, but I just looked at it like a big football game and just knew that you're going to have good runs and you're going to have bad days and everything's going to work out in the end. So, you know, it's been exciting and I've really enjoyed the process.
Now, of course, congratulations to Whitfield. Now, we have tried to reach out to BB High School, who has not reached back out to us for a comment on the election. So, again, congratulations to Whitfield and all the candidates running in today's race. Live in Walker County, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Tanisha, thank you. Voters in Georgia had several amendments on the ballot. In the first one, voters decided whether or not the state would intervene and help failing schools. The numbers right now, you can see they have turned that one down. The noes have 60% of the vote.
The second amendment involved rehabilitating those who've sexually exploited. Now, this is in 83% says yes, 17 says no.
The third amendment involved judicial qualifications, and 62% were in favor of that amendment, 38% no.
And the last amendment involved what to do with taxes from fireworks. 81% voted to use the taxes for public safety purposes. 19% said no.
After the break on this special edition of Eyewitness News at 11, we have more election coverage for you on the local level.
I have more information on who won the Tennessee Senate District 10 seat, also House District 27, and what makes those races stand out. And a new Hamilton County Commissioner in District 3, a familiar face, already serving on the school board. We'll be right back.
And as we join you in progress, we want to let you know a lot of things are happening on the national front in the race for president. So let's take a look at what NBC is saying right now. You mentioned earlier that North Carolina has now been put on the Trump column.
Supplement insurance plans. They
well,
help
they're in a
cover
commercial
some
now,
of what
so we'll come back.
All right, all right.
So don't wait.
We'll let you. We'll go back to that in a few minutes rather than watch the commercial. We can tell you here locally a race that attracted a lot of interest was State Senate District 10.
Todd Gardenhire has been representing the district since 2013. Tonight, he was running against Christy Wilkinson. Channel 3 Eyewitness News anchor Greg Glover joins us now with more details. Greg?
David, Cindy, that state Senate race between incumbent Todd Gardenhire and political newcomer Christy Wilkinson did get a bit heated this round, as we mentioned at 6. Senator Gardenhire prevailed, winning a second term in Nashville, and there you see the result. Gardenhire remarked that he pulled in a greater percentage of the vote than he did the first time he ran. You see 56% there. He pulled in 54% last time, just 2% higher, but he called that amazing progress for this district. Our crew began the evening at Jefferson's in Chattanooga, election headquarters for the Hamilton County Democrats. The mood was light and celebratory early on. The District 10 race wouldn't be called for another couple of hours. Then at the Doubletree, local Republicans gathered and they watched their big projector screen over there with results coming in. They were focused on presidential race results rolling in. As their candidates won, each of them took a turn at the lectern. Senator Gardenhire said his campaign stuck to a simple message, as you see there.
My message was basically three things. One is I was a champion of education. Two is I did everything I could to fight a tax increase. And third, I did everything I could to return taxpayers' money back to the taxpayers. And those were the three messages that I had to give out, and that's what we stayed focused on.
I mean, I have met so many amazing people through the campaign, and I've created new relationships that I think are going to be, very wonderful. Whatever the outcome of this election is, I have work to do, and there are projects that we're working on.
And one more race to tell you about here at the end of my report. Incumbent Republican Patsy Hazelwood from the Tennessee House in District 27. That's the Signal Mountain area. She won her race big tonight, 72% to 28% over Steve Gordon of Chattanooga. Live in the studio for Decision 2016 coverage, Greg Glover, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Greg. The position of District 3 County Commissioner in Hamilton County has been vacant since August, when Marty Haynes was elected Assessor of Property.
Well, a new commissioner will be sworn in soon. The race was between Republican Greg Martin, a current school board member, and Independent Joe Smith. Channel 3's Jill Jelnick joins us now with more on Martin's big win. Jill?
David, Cindy, many voters I spoke with were unsure exactly which direction this race would go. But as soon as the votes started coming in, Republican candidate Greg Martin took an early lead, and it would stay that way for the rest of the night. The Hamilton County School Board now will have to find a new member because Greg Martin is the new county commissioner for District 6. Martin winning with 61% of the votes, his opponent, Joe Smith, with 39%. I caught up with Greg earlier tonight, and he says he's overwhelmed with all the support and love he's received from the community.
Knowing that you've got your friends and family have believed in you and have gone the extra mile to get out and vote and make sure their friends and neighbors. I had scores of people tell me that they went to vote because friends wrote them a card, knocked on their door, talked to them, called them on the phone, texted them. You just feel very good when you know you have that many great friends out there helping you.
Greg also mentioned that the first thing he will do is help find a replacement on the school board and then begin working on being an effective and responsive person to the taxpayers. Live in the studio, Jill Jelnick, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jill. And there's more election coverage ahead on this special edition of Eyewitness News at 11, including whether or not some places in our viewing area will be able to sell wine in the grocery stores.
And Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris will tell us about some cooler weather headed our way and windy conditions that could worsen our wildfire problem. Stay with us.
Had a few sprinkles this evening across the Tennessee Valley, just in spots and very little amounts, a couple hundredths of an inch here and there, but generally just trace amounts to nothing. It's school day forecast, so we're going to start off with some clouds in the morning with temperatures at around 51. Winds will start to pick up throughout the day. Then it's going to be cool and breezy by afternoon with full sunshine coming back, and temperature should be around 63 or so. See these little dots here green, these are just sprinkles that are moving by. There's not that much rain with this. It really dissipated as it moved into the drier air across the Tennessee Valley. Now, further off to the north, this is where the heaviest rain is, up into Kentucky, West Virginia, up to Pennsylvania, and right along the Gulf Coast. That's where some heavy rain is too. we're sort of in a hole. We've been in a hole for months, and it looks like that'll continue. All this light blue out there, those are freeze warnings that have gone out for some of the Great Plains already. 55 is the current temperature with calm winds, 53 in Cleveland, 52 in Dalton and in Athens, also Fort Payne, with 42 already out near Murphy, and those winds will start to pick up probably after about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. 68 and 44 the high and the low for today, and then no rain obviously, and we're fast approaching 19 inches below normal in rain. Skywatchers told me low 70s to upper 60s across the area. Generally Dalton hit 71, Trenton, Calhoun 71, 70 into Chatsworth. Cleveland only got up to 66, at least at Linda Ursum's house, a little warmer downtown. 67 Sidey Daisy, Lakeside, Ottawa, 66 Eastridge, but Ringo, Johnny Parks told me 69. Mowbray Mountain only hit 60, while Signal Mountain was 63, and Lookout Mountain at 64. Now, got up to 71 at Gene Corcoran's house up in Spring City. Turtletown 61, Murphy 65, and 69 in Jasper, while it was in mid to upper 60s up along the Cumberland Plateau. Dayton hit 68. All right, here's the latest Vipercast showing that cold front moving by. Winds by tomorrow are going to be out of the north, and they'll be a little gusty into the afternoon. All the rain being pushed down to the south along with this front. So if there are any fires and you're north of those fires, you're not going to see as much smoke once those winds pick up, because it's going to be blowing it all into Georgia and North Carolina, depending on where those fires are. So at least north of the fires, you're not going to see as much smoke. It's going to go somewhere else this time. 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, absolutely nothing. High pressure building in. As that high sits over us, we'll have very light winds. Another cold front will start to approach coming up into Friday afternoon. And then see these arrows indicating northerly winds to northeasterly winds right into the weekend. But they're not going to be strong. They're going to be light. But tomorrow, that could add fuel to the fire with some of those fires again. Now, Colmont, you're only going to get to 59 tomorrow. Birchwood, you'll hit about 64. But the sun will be coming back in the afternoon. Now, we have some clouds out there now, and they'll stick around throughout the overnight with 51 for that low and light winds. Tomorrow, the winds start picking up out of the north, 65 for the high, and skies will be clearing off. Tomorrow night, clear, and 41 in the city. Away from the city, it's going to be dropping down into the 30s. And then on Thursday, 68 for that high, and then definitely in the 30s all over the place. Coming up on Friday with 70 for the high. Could be some scattered frost coming up again in the Friday morning. 60 and 45 on Saturday, and then 63 and 36 on Sunday. Another cool morning at 64 and 38 on Monday, and 66 and 47 on Tuesday. So some much cooler weather moving our way.
And we're back with more in a moment.